Yes, hello, champion, gladiator, world changer, transformer, and everyone in our own different spaces and categories where we change the world, where we transform the world, where we impact people. Okay, so this is a space where we talk about empowerment, we talk about impacting lives. We talk about transforming lives, and we talk about the day to day kind of life, okay? Purpose, we talk about wealth, and then we talk about how to live an epic lifestyle, okay? So if you want anything to do with those things, this is the place to come to. And today I really felt compelled to talk about how to thrive or to have your business thrive in such a moment as this, okay? We are in the middle of a pandemic and things are not moving the way we planned or we thought they would move. But again, this is a place where we need to pivot. This is a place where we need to, you know, step on the gas. This is the place where we need to, accelerate, speed up, do things that we have never done. Why? Because the world has changed, and it changed overnight. There was no warning. No one knocked at our doors. No one told us next year it's going to be like this. And boom, it's on us. Businesses are going under. People are losing jobs. Families are breaking. There's a lot that is happening around us. So if you are a world changer, a transformer, a champion, a gladiator, that means this is time for you to actually buckle up. This is takeoff time, okay? Because so many people are going to need us, not just in spaces where we were used to being and having events, but in their homes. They're going to need us on their gadgets. They're going to need us in this moment more than ever. So we buckle up and we go to war. We go to the front line, okay? We are soldiers, and I'm lucky to be your commander on this journey. Okay, I'm Bahati Hilda Saviti. Yes, if it's your first time, but if it's not, then we have talked, we have, worked together in one way or another, and we have impacted lives in one way or another. So how do we thrive in such an environment? Okay, if you see me look down, I put down certain things, or the things that have actually helped me, because this pandemic, when it started, I was just getting into my maternity leave actually. And okay, when it started, I was like, okay, now I actually have time home with my kids. But I don't know, for whatever reason, my mind pivoted so quickly to actually have my mind or my head wrapped up around the situation, because I saw people go into panic. I have people in London, I have relatives, I mean all over, scattered in Rwanda, in Kenya, in, around. And so, like, everyone was in panic. And so I knew that if everyone is actually in panic, there's so many people out there that don't have any kind of help or any kind of access to help, because, everything is locked down, no one is moving, businesses are shutting down, and all that. So I was like, okay, now this is it. And this is when I think 2020, in November or December, that's when I actually posted and said, in the pandemic, I made a lot more money than than I've ever made, okay, in my life. And I made it from home, because after my maternity leave, still coming back to work was ish, like it was just crawling out of, it wasn't, I had a sticker, I'm an essential worker, being a media personality, but still life was not, at 100%, at full capacity. We were actually below quarter, okay, and we were just crawling out of our holes, literally. But while I was at home, I had a full schedule of sessions. I had a full schedule of virtual events. I had a full schedule, like I would lock myself up in my home office. I would from now and then disappear from my baby, from my new baby, from my mother who was around to take care of me, and just to make sure that, okay, I am talking to this client, and then I have 30 minutes here, and then I have an hour there, and then I have another, because people were looking for answers. And so I put these things down so that we can be able to follow them together, that it just doesn't have to be about the pandemic. I know so many things are going to happen, so many uncertainties will hit us. The world is just going berserk, everything is going upside down. I hear you can hear rumors of war, and you can hear conflicts, and you can hear, so there is so many insurgencies or so many things that are happening around us. But guess what? We are frontliners, and that's not going to change. Okay, so I put something down here, and this is something to do with how our minds are actually wired. We are actually hardwired, and the way our brains are programmed is to actually protect us. Okay, now in the moment when we are hearing all kind of sensitization, and then the rumors, and then the gossip, and then the the myths that are being dished around, that means that this is a trigger for your mind to tell you that, you know what, carve in, protect yourself, do not go out, hold the information, hold still. Like it's a commander telling you, or telling your brain that stand still. Okay, there is no work to be done, just stand still. And that is how the brain works. It's like a brain is like a snail. When the snail hears of any kind of vibrations, okay, you don't have to step on it, any vibrations around it, because it's on the ground. When you step on the ground, even if it's a mile away and you're a giant and you can shake the ground, a snail will coil back into its into its what is that? But it will coil back. Why? Because it's hardwired to protect itself by just caving in or getting in. Now that is exactly how our minds work. Okay, remember we're talking about how to thrive in places of uncertainty, or in moments of uncertainty, to be able to pivot and to be able to actually have healthy businesses and healthy coaching businesses, consulting, mentorship, and all that in such moments as this. Okay, so if your brain is supposed to protect you from harm, it's supposed to protect you from danger, and it has to show up in that moment. Okay, whenever there's a trigger, it shows up. It's like police. You call 911, we are here, what's the problem, what's the matter, can we solve it? That's exactly, so the brain jumps so quickly to make sure that it protects us, and it's up to us to actually tell the brain that this is not a trigger. Now that is a hard one. It's up to us to think positively. Actually, today I was talking to a certain client, and I was telling them that and I've used this so many times when I'm speaking, that negativity is like a weed. It does not need any conducive environment to grow. It can grow on concrete. It can grow in the middle of a path, in the road, or in the middle of the road, not even on the roadside. Like, you'll find negativity everywhere, because you don't need to mulch, you don't need to cultivate, you don't need to till the land, you don't need to prepare the land, you don't need to water it, it just grows anywhere. But positivity is like an apple. It's very picky where it grows. They will tell you that apples, if it's in Uganda, it's only in Western Uganda. If it's okay, most of them come from, I think, from Nairobi, still highlands, and then from Johannesburg, but not actually Cape Town. And so it's very picky. Positivity, you have to choose to till the land, to prepare the land, to mulch it, to put in manure, to make it conducive for positivity to grow. So that means it is a choice. It's not on autopilot. So the program, our brain is programmed to, in an autopilot way, okay? Like, it's a reflex action for it to protect us. But now it's up to us to tell our brains that do not read danger, do not read triggers, okay? Because we know that when we trigger the brain, then it is actually going to spark to make sure that it protects us. If we focus on what's not going well, then the brain will come in to help. That means you have to choose your thoughts very carefully. If you're thinking, we are going to die, the world is coming to an end. If you're thinking, oh my God, what am I going to do? I don't have enough money. I don't have the panic. Then you're switching off your brain sensors and you're telling them, come rescue me. So your brain is going to keep you in your comfort zone. It's going to keep you so safe. But guess what? There is no growth in safety. There is no development in safety. There is no exposure in safety, because if you're like in a safe bank like those that we see in movies, I mean, it's just survival. Okay, there is no thriving instinct, it's just survival. And so many of us are used to the survival mode more than the thriving mode, that even when we need to thrive, we end up surviving because that is what we are used to. Okay, so what you dwell on, what you focus on, and most of us give our brain the input of the triggers, and then we get irritated when it swings into action. I like that. You know, like you've given um as you've sent out the sensors or the frequency or the siren that shows that there's danger, and then all of a sudden you are surprised when the brain acts. I mean, it's that's how it's programmed. So you can, if you want to bypass it, then you have to do it differently. You don't have to trigger it in the way it's supposed to be triggered. I don't know whether you understand that. Let me actually, I think, re-explain it. Most of the times we give our brains triggers, negative triggers, and then we get surprised and irritated when they swing into action. Why? Because on this hand, we want development, we want personal growth, we want to make more money, we want to impact lives, we want to transform lives. But on this hand, we are engaging bad thoughts, negative thoughts, like we are going to die, the world is shutting down, things are not going the way they are supposed to go. Now, these cannot dwell in the same sentence, like they cannot dwell in the same brain, because while you're thinking the negativity, the brain is triggered and it wants to protect you. That means you can never have advanced thoughts, you can never do the personal growth, you can never do the impacting of the world, you can never do the transformation of the world. So you see that these are two extreme ends that can never meet, and they can never dwell in the same place. That means you have to choose. It's either or. You choose to be negative and for your brain to swing into action and protect you, or you choose and say, you know what, come what may, I am going. Okay, I'm attacking, I am making it, I am thriving, I am making the money, I am growing personally, I am pivoting, and I'm riding on this wave. I'm not just stepping out of the ocean, but I'm riding this wave. Okay, now that's really a beautiful one. Okay, so we can intentionally choose whether we stay on the track to protect ourselves, or we can choose the track of personal growth. It's a choice. Life is a choice. Life is not a chance. Like, oh, it happened to me. Oh, I didn't know. You know, when I was sleeping, and then and that's the bad thing about most people that actually I believe in the miraculous, don't mistaken I believe in God. I believe in the power of God. I believe in, I really, really, really believe. But again, I'm not the kind who believes that money is going to drop from heaven. I'm not the kind who believes that all of a sudden, like, there's a magic wand for something to happen or money to happen or something. I don't believe in that. I believe I have to make choices, and the choices that I made 10 years ago have gotten me to where I am, and the same choices cannot take me ahead, because what got me here is not going to take me there. It's not going to take me to where I want to get. That means I have to change the approach. That means I have to do something different. If I want something different, I have to do something totally different. So you see what we have said, that you can either choose to be on a protected track, okay, or you can choose to be on a track that the track that involves personal growth and personal development, but you have to choose. Okay, and some of us will self-sabotage subconsciously, at a subconscious level. But if you start living life intentionally, and I think ever since I started doing this, life has been awesome. It has been epic. Like, intentionally, very deliberate about the choices that I make, because I know these are like syndicated programs or signals that get me to somewhere. They're like sirens, okay? And my body listens to them, and my body honors them, and they trigger my body, they trigger my mind. And so if I want to go a certain direction, I must tell my mind that this is where we are going, and this is what we are going to do, and this is what we are going to achieve. Okay, so I'm going to continue from here. I can hear Ariel from the other room, and okay, luckily enough, I think the dad has swung into action. Okay, so we should intentionally be focusing on doing better and not focusing on actually losing things, and then you can't create and protect simultaneously. I love that. You can't protect and create simultaneously. You have to choose. If you want to protect, go into the bunker, lock yourself up. If you want to create, come out, expose yourself, take the bullets. I mean, first the harshness, but again, create and grow. Okay. So, and so many of us, actually, I'll give an example of even content creation. So many of us, when we create, for those of you that have sent me your videos to just go through them before you post them, you realize there is that tension and the fear that you have because you're going to put it out there. That means the fear is coming from, will people like it? Will people reject my information? Will they like it? Will they, all these things that fear brings about. Now, when our brain is triggered, we swings into action and then we procrastinate. So we don't do the videos, we don't write the posts, we don't do anything, we don't speak. Why? Because we are under fear and we have chosen the negativity, we have chosen the protectiveness and the safety, and we have not chosen the personal development and the personal growth. Okay, so if we say they cannot dwell simultaneously, if you create, say, let me say for example, if I told you just create, do a video, even if you don't post it, just do a video, you realize you will do it and you will keep it on your phone. And I know so many of you have kept videos on your phone for over 6 months, not because it wasn't good, because then, I mean, put it out there. People are not looking for perfection. And I mean, whoever wants to laugh, let them laugh. This is you putting yourself out there, being vulnerable, wanting to change the world, hungry for success, wanting to make it so badly. Okay. And no one should ever, or no fear should ever grip you. Like, will they accept it? Will they reject it? That's none of your business. Yours is to create, but you realize you cannot create and protect at the same time. So if you want to protect your mind, you're going to keep self-sabotaging, subconsciously and consciously, and then you are going to actually procrastinate. Okay, and you're going to push things ahead. If you procrastinate, it doesn't mean that you're busy. It's a person that is busy postpones. But if you procrastinate, it's because you're literally doing nothing. But there's a monkey in your brain that tells you, you know what, we will do it tomorrow, and we'll do it. And I think I will do something about procrastination sometime, because I was one for the longest time until I discovered that this is no way. I cannot work like this. Okay. And as for so many people who say they are recovered procrastinators, sometimes it's actually not true. Okay, we learn to improve, we learn the psychology of procrastination, and then you work around it. But we'll talk about it some other time altogether. So your creativity is a muscle, and most of us dwell on the intellectual. The intellectual does not actually serve the creativity. Okay, your creativity is a muscle that develops with action. So the more you do it, the more you're on camera, the more you speak, the more the more like you develop, you grow. But on the other hand, if you depend on your intellect, it's going to betray you, because at sometimes it will switch off. Okay, because it wants to protect you. It reasons a lot. Have you ever seen people, you're in the boardroom, people are raising their hands, they're contributing, but you think you have the right answer, but you're thinking, will they like it? Will it sound right? Will I say it? Won't they be offended with it? And then before you know it, someone has said a wrong answer, but they were frank, they were bold, and they were able to raise their hands, and they were able to stand up and speak. But because you, the wise one, the intellectual one, you took time to digest. How will people see it? How will they perceive it? And then you go without saying a thing. That is not changing the world. It is not changing the world at all. Okay, so make sure that your expectations, okay, that you have in your brain to protect you, actually, because creating and protecting cannot dwell in the same. So you have to make sure that the thoughts that you have in your brain, and the positive thoughts that can actually encourage the creativity, because just like we said, creativity is a muscle, but it's a muscle that can be grown with action, and action can only come from positive thoughts. Okay, so I just want us to just end this with just 5 pointers, what you can do. I will not explain them at length, but at least I know you will be able to pick something out of it. So make sure that you pre-decide that everything will be okay. When we started this pandemic, actually Tim was not even around. He had traveled. He was in the US. I was but he went shortly after I'd given birth. So I mean, the time people are, I mean, total lockdown and all those things. Like, I told my brain, I pre-decided that it's going to be okay. And I don't know, I usually have the positivity. I think because I've gone through a lot and seen that negativity does not build me and it does not add anything, no value at all. So I just pre-decided in my mind that it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. And let me tell you, it works 100% all the time. It works. So pre-decide and tell your brain, okay? So your brain stops asking the questions of why, instead you ask, how do I go through this? Do you see the difference between when you pre-decide, there is a way the brain will collaborate with you and it will go in the direction that you want to go. But there is a way, if you start asking the wrong questions, the brain shuts down and then it switches off, okay? So that it can protect you. But if the brain starts asking, but how? You have pre-decided that it's all going to be okay, but how is it going to be okay? And then you're like, no, I am switching to working online. I've been meeting people at office, but I'm going to be online. Okay, but now the events, yeah, they're still going to invite me and they will make posters. I will put them online and we'll have virtual events on Google Meeting, on Zoom, there's so many platforms. Do you see how you respond to your brain? And like, but now, the social life. And you're like, don't worry, we'll make calls, conference calls, we'll, do tea parties on Zoom and we will do, we will improvise. And your brain is like, okay. It's like my daughter, when you tell her something, like, but and she can ask you a very weird question, but why is Ariel crying? And then you'll be like, but you're the one who pushed her. Oh, okay. It's like she doesn't know what she did. So that is what happens with our brains. It will say, okay, so that is how we are going to go. But now, how about the food? No, we're going to cut down our budget and then we're going to buy in bulk and we're going to be sorted. Okay, so you have pre-decided and the brain is collaborating to make sure that it goes in the direction that you want to go. It's a very beautiful one. You don't want to miss. Number 2, work on your skill set. Okay, like, during these times, the hard times, let me tell you, the people that are going to thrive 2 years from now, 1 year from now, they did something in the middle of this pandemic, or they acquired a skill, they got certified, and I'm so happy for the mentorship, for the mentorship class, okay? Because we have grown and grown, we have graduated. The first cohort, the second cohort, the third cohort is going to graduate, and these are people that have been accredited in the pandemic, okay? So when this is all over, or even if it doesn't get over, whatever it is, they are going to make it in a huge way because they chose to invest in themselves in the bad times. So when the good time comes, who will be coming out stronger? They will be like, yeah, we are the ones that are available. We want to change the world. We want to transform the world. We are the gladiators. And here we are. We are coming. We are prepared, fully equipped and fully mentored. Why? They chose to actually go believe in themselves and do something. So in the middle of uncertainty, do something. Invest in yourself, invest in knowledge, invest in skill set, be certified, do something about it instead of just sitting around. Okay. And the other thing I would say, make sure that you serve, okay? Because just like I said, and I did not talk about working on my skill set. I did a lot to actually self-improve. I've done a lot of reading. I've done a lot of short courses. I've done a lot just to make sure that I improve myself. But when it comes to serving, okay, that means, I've been rushing home literally every other day to do live sessions with the mentorship class. I've been on Zoom calls with different companies. I've been I've been serving. Okay, now for some of you, you just need to start being live on Facebook, being live on Instagram, being live on YouTube, whatever it is that you choose. But serve the community, know people's problems. I mean, show them the way. Okay, learn on that as you go along. You don't need to be perfect to do everything. Okay, send the messages, do something. Okay, but serve. Make sure that you serve. Okay, so we're talking about thriving. Okay, in a pandemic, or thriving in places of uncertainty. And number 4, be intentional about your personal growth. Be very intentional. What do you want to build? What is your purpose? What kind of life do you envision? You should be very mindful, very intentional about your personal growth in places of uncertainty. I'll not explain that further. And lastly, but not least, create something. Okay, create something. So many things to create. You can write an article, you can shoot a video using your phone. You don't need to have expensive gadgets. Like, do something. Create that page, create that group. Okay, invite people. Start somewhere, because action is the only thing that is going to cast away the fear, and is the only thing that is going to reassure your brain that we are okay. Look at us. We are on the front line. We are serving. We are doing the personal development. We are investing in ourselves. We are fighting. We're not going down easily. We're not giving up easily. We are fighting, okay? So I want you to have that fighters, the warrior spirit inside of you that says, no, I cannot just sit back and fold my arms. I am going to do better, and I will do better, and tomorrow I will do better than I did yesterday, and I'm going to be the best version of myself. I'm going to change the world. I'm going to transform the world, and I'm going to live an epic life. That is a choice, just like I said. So I wanted to share those things because those are the things that have worked for me. What has worked for you? I would love to hear from you. So write down 5 things that you think anyone can do in their hardest of times that can help them thrive, that can help their businesses thrive and their life, or live a better life. Okay, I want to hear from you so badly. But I love you, and until the next video, bless you.